Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I am your host, Matt Tardio, and today's episode is being brought to you by EveryPlate. I don't know where this woman came from, but it's like a breath of fresh air. If you guys have yet to see this, today we're going to be going over some stuff that came out of the Whitehouse, specifically the press secretary, Benjamin Netanyahu, some other things going on here in the great state of Texas. But dude, seriously, if you haven't seen this yet, you are not going to be disappointed. This woman absolutely crushed today. Check this out.
Speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as advocating on behalf of the president, or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people. And that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
Bro, where did she come from? Serious question. I had to look it up. That's not even all of the fire that she spat today. This was her first press conference as being like the press secretary for the Trump admin. This woman is 27 years young. I'm not making that statement up. She is married and she's got a newborn child just born all the way back in July. Yeah, I might have looked into her. Her name is Carolyn Levitt, and I hope I pronounced that correct. She just graduated college like back in 2019. And I say just, it was like what, 5+ years ago, right? She graduated college back in 2019. She was on like internships. She has worked on Capitol Hill in the past, so she's no stranger to all of this. But man, I tell you what, I don't think the media knew what hit them today. The nice thing is we learned what was going on with the drones. So let's draw some lines between the drones here in just a second.
An update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States to start this briefing with some news. And with that,
okay, cool. So we know the drones were being flown for research. They got approved by the FAA, and that the Biden administration felt like, I don't know, not stating that very openly and clearly, or maybe we just didn't believe him and it just flew right over my dang head. But look, regardless, obviously, then afterwards, a bunch of people want to copycat and do some other stuff, cause a bunch of wreak havoc, everything else. So probably the government was flying a bunch of experimental crap, doing research for some reason or another, and we found out about it. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple job to do. And she had some other bombshells that she ended up dropping today. Things that like I myself was like, there is no flipping way. I had to watch it twice about the words that just came out of her mouth. For example, in this video, you're about to learn that $50 million were en route to Gaza to buy condoms. I can't make that up.
with the president's agenda, then the Office of Management and Budget will review those policies. I think this is a very responsible measure. Again, the past 4 years, we've seen the Biden administration spend money like drunken sailors. It's a big reason we've had an inflation crisis in this country. And it's incumbent upon this administration to make sure, again, that every penny is being accounted for honestly.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding, at least for for a period of time.
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working. And their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOJ and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda.
Right.
DOJ and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So
No way! $50 million in condoms to Gaza? The U.S. taxpayer shouldn't be funding that? You don't say. It's a good thing the frickin' Trump admin actually caught that. Like, truthfully, I'd really want to know how many millions of taxpayer dollars have gone to condoms in Gaza. Like, I really hope they look that up, because apparently this has been taking place since like 2018. I mean, it looks to me like this gentleman is blowing up not balloons. Let's just put it that way. Now, she started this briefing letting them know that she is going to remain crucial. She is going to keep them honest. She told them. Do you think they listened? Do you think Trump would just put anybody up there in that frickin' seat? That is not going to be honest.
Caroline, on immigration. Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
all of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You may have done what's the worst first. They all have a criminal record.
And welcome to the briefing
If they
room.
broke our nation's laws, yes, they are a criminal. Yes.
Thank you. On stripping.
Oh, that warms my heart so much. You broke the law. You did. You entered the country illegally. You broke federal law. That makes you a criminal. When you break the law, you are a criminal. When you are currently breaking the law, you remain a criminal. Why is that so hard for people in this country to understand? And why the heck are these freaking news reporters even acting like that's not a thing, as if the law is not on the books, as if CBP is not on the border getting shot at every day, trying to stop these people from pouring across the dang border? Well, I'll tell you this much. Not everybody is happy with the Trump administration. Some people are very upset that they're not getting their government handouts.
Not only does this administration's new policy put people at risk, but it is plainly unconstitutional. The president does not get to decide which laws to enforce and for whom. When Congress dedicates funding for a program, the president cannot pull that funding on a whim. Later today, I am leading and joining with my colleagues, my fellow Democratic attorney generals, in suing this administration to stop this illegal freeze of essential funds for our state. We will not stand for any illegal policy that puts essential services for millions of Americans at risk. And we work tirelessly overnight to ensure that that does not happen. Our lawsuit will seek a court order to immediately stop the enforcement of the OMB policy and to preserve essential funding for Americans.
So I'm going to throw that out there. She is the Attorney General for New York, and she was just complaining about the President of the United States in freezing funding to make sure it aligns with U.S. policy, right? And she's upset. She says he doesn't get to choose which laws he chooses to enforce. I believe we have a word for people like her. I mean, you would expect as the Attorney General, maybe she wouldn't be enforcing all laws if she has the cojones to make that statement. For example, here's an article dated January 28th. Wouldn't you know it? That's today. New York leaders express guarded support for Trump ICE raids in country's biggest sanctuary city, meaning they won't be cooperating with federal law enforcement. Now, why, oh why, if their Attorney General is so concerned with the flippin' law, Would this statement exist in a Fox News article? New York Attorney General James, meanwhile, issued an apparent warning to state and local law enforcement cooperating with federal authorities, saying in a Tuesday X post that she would be monitoring the situation closely to ensure that the state's sanctuary policies are not violated. That's pretty weird, seeing as how you're the chief law enforcement officer and you just manage to tell the president that he's wrong while you ignore other laws. Maybe that's why he's in office, lady, because we're tired of which things you choose to support and which ones you don't. So either the laws apply to you or they don't. So how about you get off your butt and start enforcing, I don't know, immigration law inside your own state? How about you check down before you start checking up? Because right now you are failing. Ladies and gentlemen, the month of January is almost over, and I got a feeling like a lot of Americans, you probably had some New Year's resolutions, and at this point in time, they probably slipped through. Now, I've said this before on the podcast. It's my personal opinion that the food you put in your body is fuel. Your body treats it like fuel, and you'll feel better if you eat better food. Fuel your body appropriately, and you'll be able to perform and function 10 times better. That's why I'm really excited about Every Plate, because they do have multiple options for amazing meals, and they end up getting delivered straight to your door with instructions and everything else. And it's delicious. It's delicious. It's good for you. It's fuel going into your body. I can't say anything more. And you're going to spend money on groceries anyway. Stop doing things the old-fashioned way. Stop doing it. You don't need to anymore. Make your life easier. Stop ordering like thousands of dollars worth of crap that you're never going to eat, that you're going to throw away, that you're going to waste. And everything that comes in the box, you are going to use because it's a portion of the recipe. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time. Set wholesome habits this year when you sign up for America's Best Value Meal Kit. Get started with 50% off your first box and a free month at Planet Fitness with code ROBPF at everyplate.com/podcast. Every plate offer valid with auto-renewing subscription. Planet Fitness offer valid with $1 down, due at Black Card membership sign-up. Additional restrictions may apply. See everyplate.com/podcast for details. That's 50% off your first box and 1 month free at Planet Fitness with code ROBPF at everyplate.com/podcast. Well, in other news, while the New York Attorney General is busy ignoring certain laws and complaining that the president is choosing which ones he wants to actually pass with this policy to make sure it fits within national policy, this psychopath English decided it would be a good idea to take a Molotov cocktail and go after the new Treasury Secretary in Washington, D.C. This is the affidavit for arrest that actually came out today. You'll see it was filed 1/28/2025, and probably one of the most, I don't know, crazy things that end up coming about this, besides them knowing they were in grave danger and everything else, is the actual explosive device that they chose to use that's outlined in this affidavit. It was a freaking vodka bottle with a cloth shoved, a vodka bottle filled with vodka, by the way, with a cloth shoved in it. I think it was like hand gel or something on there, but they had accepted that they were going to do suicide by cop. So the people like the New York Attorney General that are screaming about how horrible the Trump administration is for actually enforcing laws, in my opinion, are inciting violence. Now, that's Matt's opinion, and I could be wrong here, but they're actually going after legitimate state elected officials. Also, the DOJ today randomly ended up getting evacuated.
Hi, Leo 2.0 here. There was an evacuation order in the Department of Justice. We all had to leave the building, and we're out now walking outside the Department of Justice building. I'm going to flip the camera over so you can see all the people outside on the corner.
Please do.
The building.
Look, I don't care. Okay. My initial thought going into this, I actually do care. Excuse me. I do care. My initial thought going into this was the federal employees that got told they had to return to their office got really, really upset that they actually had to go into work, and somebody called in a BOMB threat on the building, and then it got evacuated. Turns out none of that's true. I heard that a fire alarm got pulled, and that's the reason everybody evacuated. But if that was the case, then he wouldn't be there. Other rumors are going around saying that this was the Trump admin going over to seize all of the evidence of a crooked administration. Either way, it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up coming out, because they did, in fact, get ordered not to be getting rid of any of the crooked stuff the administration was doing when it came to prosecuting elected officials, using law enforcement capabilities because they feel like they might lose an election. But if anything is going to warm your soul, it's going to be this video right here. This is Customs and Border Patrol agents today actually enforcing the law. Now, yesterday was a shootout on the border between CBP and cartel. We got some cool videos of it, not a big deal. But check this out. You want to see a big difference? This video starts off, it's a little bit longer. It's about 3 minutes long, but the video starts off with him like showing that there's these, like smugglers, mules, whatever on the other side. And CBP's sitting there in a standoff and he shows them like up on like the hillside looking down on them. Context, background, go.
They're coming through, baby. He's going up there. I just want you guys to check out the prompt response of all of the Border Patrol agents now seeing those criminals up there. They're all going, hell yeah. Look at that. They ran.
They ran. Now, here's the crazy thing about this. So there's your little action shot for this 3-minute video. And I love Anthony Aguero. He's been down on the border reporting live for a really long time. And I've been able to pull a lot of good feeds, learn a lot of stuff about him, learn a lot of stuff about the border just from watching this guy. I highly suggest you guys go over. Huge shout out to this guy. Really, really good at what he does. Love him to death. But I want you to know that that man has been on the border for a really, really long time. All right. And he has documented time after time over the last year of the failures of the Biden administration, the restrictions that was placed onto Customs and Border Patrol agents. The reason his voice is so excited and he's so pumped, I want you to think about this. A guy that does independent journalism down on the border actually got excited seeing CBP officers do their job. Now, that's not something that normally a guy that would sit on the border and cover this crap for so long would get excited about. But in this particular video, he's pumped. Why? Because he doesn't see that stuff all of the time. And I told all of you guys, be patient when it comes to Israel because we got to let a couple things play out. Well, today looks like President Trump actually sent a freaking letter over to Prime Minister Netanyahu inviting him to the White House next week to discuss the policy of everything that's going on. He says, how can we bring peace to Israel and its neighbors and efforts to counter our shared adversaries? Trump's literally bringing Netanyahu into the White House to make sure that they can ensure long-term peace, not negotiation with terrorists, not anything else. And by the way, he said, and efforts to counter our shared adversaries. You think he's hitting at Iran? I do, and I certainly hope so. I also hope that he's hitting at Jelani over inside of Syria because that is about to be the new Islamic Caliphate. If you're not tracking on that, I'm about to give you guys a deep dive here in a future video. Now, I told you guys that Trump supports Israel. There's a lot of questions about it, but it looks like we got some answers for why he's so dang hard up. I didn't know this about the man, but I discovered it today.
I want to thank my Jewish daughter. I have a Jewish daughter. This wasn't in the plan, but I'm very glad it happened.
Did anybody else know that? I didn't. I was shocked to learn that. That's freaking amazing, man. I had no idea. No idea. He actually tells his son-in-law to stand up and get recognized. Dude, it's great. Like, I don't know, man. There is a lot of goodness that's coming out, but I'm telling you, there is a lot of hard roads ahead, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Tardio. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Please consider becoming a true supporter. It's $4.99 a month, live sessions, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, with videos being released. I love you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Peace, love, happiness. God bless. I am out of here.